So welcome all. It's really wonderful to see you. We see many familiar faces and we see some new faces too, which always makes us happy. Our community is global and we love to see where you're coming in from. So if you want to share that in the chat, then we're happy to read that as well. So we welcome all the men and women who are committed to building a new world focused on peace and prosperity. We definitely need as many as possible for this collective mission. So we are very happy to be coming together for this webinar to share with you about the new phase of development of the school, Mary Magdalene School, and specifically about our new certification programs that are starting in January. So, but first, maybe for some of you who are new with us, we just want to briefly introduce ourselves. I'm Anna, and Petra is, well, beside me on the screen. We founded Mary Magdalene School almost 5 years ago in a response to a call from Mary Magdalene and Jeshua. And the nearly 5 years of channeled teachings from the higher realms that we've received over these past years, we have a great archive of material, and this material will be forming the basis for our upcoming programs, along with much real-time material as well. So our mission is creating a peaceful and prosperous human civilization that is reconnected back into the flow of galactic life in the consciousness of oneness. So we're really assisting in the awakening of all of humanity into the Sophia Christ consciousness and seeding the new civilization on Gaia through the mystery school tradition. So the purpose of this webinar is to officially launch the first of 5 longer-term certification programs for both men and women. And these are being prepared for years, maybe for lifetimes, in our systems, in our consciousness. But since June of this year, we have really started to work to bring them into the world. Several of you have generously made it possible for us to begin this initiative through your financial gifts, and we're very, very grateful for this. So we also want to say thank you to all of those who have already registered. You have been several to register after our meeting with our membership last Friday. As soon as you say yes, of course, the magic starts, as many of you know. So be sure to start listening to the messages you receive because we are entering a temple space together. So this is really, really beautiful. And it's a most beautiful space to be in. So today we want to share the latest insights we've received through the channel of Mary Magdalene's Mystery School regarding the School of Life and service to divine creation while we are in embodied human form. And we also want to speak about how we will be guiding our global community to become living Magdalene Alchemists of creation. That term may be new for you, and we will explain it as we go on. We want to introduce Bliss Williams, who's been a member of our team, of our school team for about a year now. Bliss has been co-creating this curriculum with us, and she will be sharing more later in the webinar. But maybe, Bliss, if you could just say hello so that people can get to see you.
Hi, everyone. Great to be here. Hopefully you can see me. So I look forward to being with you this hour and to sharing more about this incredible program. So thanks for being with us.
Yeah. So Petra, would you mind putting on our first slide today?
Yeah, I'll do this.
So this is what is on our program today. We will do a small alignment, Petra will talk a little bit about astrology. We will speak about becoming comfortable in the not knowing. Those who have been practicing for longer have become more comfortable. Those who haven't been practicing so long, it's maybe not so comfortable yet, but we need to practice it, and then it gets okay. We will talk about the need for new forms of leadership for the new Earth consciousness. So Bliss will be talking about that. We'll be speaking to what is a mystery school education, because this is not the same as a normal school education. It's very, very different. So we do want to talk about that a little bit. And then about the specific mystery school certification programs, which are starting as of January 25, with all of the details about these programs and the possibilities of joining. Finally, we will end with questions and answers. So however many questions that you have that come up through this presentation, then just please note them, and you can bring them into the Q&A at the end. So before we continue any further, we'll just go in for just a couple moments so that we can all align together. So I invite you to close your eyes just for a moment, to go into silent space together, just to land here and now, all together. So if there's still cords somewhere connected in the outer world, just bring all of those cords into the present moment, into the here and now. And feel how you are here with all your brothers and sisters who are committed to the light, all children of the light. And how we are all here because we are committed to something that is birthing on Gaia through our human family at this time. Just become aware of the fact that there are many masters of Shambhala who are overlighting our meeting today, supporting each and every one of us, both men and women, as we make a move into a higher level of spiritual responsibility. So take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And realize the co-creative nature of the world that we are entering, co-creation with all realms, with the higher realms, and moving into our highest path of manifestation. So gently, I invite you to open your eyes again. To arrive back to this beautiful group of people who are here today. And Petra will take us through a little bit of astrology to explain a bit the context that we're moving into in the next time.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit about the outer planets, which are always having its influence on all of us, on the human collective. And we're really at a very pivotal time on this planet, as you already know. And we're moving deeper and deeper into the age of Aquarius. And the first planet I would like to talk about, because it is connected to all the tumultuous happenings that are happening all over the planet, including all the political upheaval, the war, the violence, the natural disasters, but also where it leads to in many of the human beings in levels of anxiety and stress and mental health challenges. And it is about Pluto. And as you know, Pluto has been for a long time in Capricorn and has put all of its power into an ascension in a way of our structures on Earth, of the big companies that are out there, to really shine a light on there and to bring everything that is not life supporting to the surface and then transform it. And we're in the last minutes, if you like, last seconds of this period that Pluto puts all his attention into the structural element of Capricorn, and it's now moving in 2 days into Aquarius to not come back anymore into Capricorn. It has been a long period and it's going back and forward the last couple of years, but now it finally moves into Aquarius, which is a completely different energy. And Pluto, as is known as the planet of death, rebirth, and resurrection, is causing, in a way, a paradigm shattering time, because we are moving into, he's putting a spotlight on a time in Aquarius where it's important to look for new ways, where innovation is at the center of all we do, where there is a very high need for equality, let's say the power to the people, brother and sisterhood, freedom, but also developments in science, high tech, and opening up the whole area of space and the cosmos. And what Pluto always does, it shows us everything that is not of these qualities. That's what it brings to the surface to alchemize and to bring it to a life form that is sustainable. So we're moving into this whole new chapter, and when a planet enters in a new sign, which it's doing at the moment, and then in 2 days, 3 days, it will be fully into Aquarius, then it could be that we experience these energies magnified because they are new, sometimes unknown, and we do not yet have the tools in ourselves to work with these new energies. So it's very important that we understand whatever is happening in our lives, that there is a perfection of the change that's happening, the change that we witness in the world today, and that all that is moving towards a higher state of consciousness. So it's very important, and we say that over and over again, for all of us to keep an awareness of welcoming an expanded consciousness of love, of oneness. And if we view our challenges from this perspective, we will be more stable and feel ourselves kept in a good place. So there is this whole movement happening, and I'm sure you're witnessing it either in your personal life or in the collective life of humanity. Another thing that I would like to talk about is Saturn in Pisces. We spoke about that already also last webinar that we had, because Saturn is already for the entire year of 2024 into Pisces, and it brings subjects like spiritual integrity, spiritual maturity, but above all, it is about spiritual responsibility. And that energy will stay with Saturn for 2025 also. And it's really about aligning ourselves with God's or the divine will. So the energies in the outer world are really supportive for all of us in the field that we are working, to bring us to our personal and our collective spiritual responsibility. And it's beautiful to use this time to investigate deep in our souls what our spiritual responsibility is and how do we incorporate this into our lives. It's always connected to our soul mission, our deepest soul desire, the reason why we're here. And the beauty is that next year there will be an energy also that from this spiritual responsibility, we want to move into action. There will be a moment that Saturn will move into Aries for a little while. It will go back again into Pisces, but it's a kind of like a first moment that we feel like, oh, I want to bring it in this kind of action into the world. So these energies are all around us, and we will be having more clarity on what it is that we want to move on into, which I know is for many people a great desire to know. Then there is another aspect, and it has to do with Neptune. And Neptune is moving next year from Pisces, which is a water sign, into Aries. And I can say a lot about that, but what it really is that we feel is important to know is, and we all know that we are in great need of a new generations of leaders who lead from the heart and have an inner authority connected to source consciousness. So this type of leadership is based in unconditional love. And this constellation, where Neptune moves from Pisces into Aries and have these fields really active, that will be a moment that new leadership is really vesting in a way into this world. I mean, we've seen already beautiful examples of it, but now we'll see it more and more, that there is a leadership based in unconditional love for self, because leadership always starts, of course, on the inner side of ourselves, but also leadership, an unconditional love for the other. So it is a leadership that understands the interconnectedness of all life. And these leaders that we will see, and I'm sure that we are all part of that leadership group, will indeed be in service to life. So that's beautiful. So to summarize all of this, we are moving through breakdowns at the moment in a way in order to come to new breakthroughs, if you like. And this is happening individually in our lives, but also collectively. And the second point is that we're being invited to step into our spiritual responsibility, which is a very personal journey. And we are being called also into a new way of leading, connected to spirit, connected to God and the goddess. Sorry.
Yeah, our society is going through a radical transformation, really a death and rebirth process, in order to relearn divine co-creation once again, because we've forgotten how to co-create with the divine. And if we just think about what it means to incarnate in these times of remembering, it's over and over again, we're in awe of the time that we're living in. So we are really at a crossroads for how to do life in a way. And we invite you to a new way of doing life. This is a way that aligns us with the infinite possibilities within, and walks into the unknown as a matter of course, as a new norm. It's this walking into the unknown that allows a new path to be created as we walk. We're really not used to that. So that needs to be acquired. Comfort with that needs to be acquired. Our reality is transforming into one that will not fit into familiar terms or concepts. It will not conform to familiar stories. It's going to be something that's absolutely brand new. We're all looking for liberation from all the stories, the concepts, the institutions, the systems, the governments that do not necessarily have our well-being in mind. And we're looking for liberation from the habits, the customs that have kept us contracted. And so many people are craving liberation, liberation from a world that's really become intolerable and dehumanized at so many levels. So in this place of uncertainty, where we are as a human family at this time, it's very, very important to have an internal coherent system to be able to lean on, and an honest, loving community to lean on as well, that is supporting us to move through the transition to a new collective narrative in as fluid a way as possible. We do not need to move into great suffering in these times. That is absolutely not necessary. There are other ways of transforming ourselves, but we do need to have the tools and have others around who can support us in this higher path of transformation. We can't do it alone. So these tools teach us to welcome uncertainty rather than to make an enemy out of the uncertainty. We often do if we're not used to it. The path we propose allows you to walk hand in hand with uncertainty, knowing that this uncertainty is okay, and it's exactly what allows the new to be revealed. The uncertainty allows us to align with a perceptive framework of unlimited possibility rather than a contracted and a controlled vision about how reality should be. And yeah. So we're proposing a space in which our preconceptions are dissolved to make space for something that is beyond our imagination. And this is not as a one-time experience, but rather as a permanent way of walking in the world in these times. And it is possible.
Well, it sure is, yeah. And our transformation into embodying higher light is essential as we move forward with the creation of the new earth. Because our creation in everyday life is a reflection of the purity of our consciousness, which is a path of purification and sublimation. And it happens in micro steps and sometimes in quantum leaps. What is actually happening with our perceptive system when we embody new higher frequencies is that we slowly start to exit a perception of separation. And we move more and more into a perception of oneness and an awareness of the interconnectedness of all of life on Earth and beyond. So our invitation through our new programming is to come together, to practice together the powerful spiritual tools we are remembering in order to walk the path of peace and to grow this field of peace and the field of prosperity for all. And many of us feel connected to the line of the peace prophets and the prophetesses, or the priests and the priestesses in the 𝐒𝐜𝐴𝐷𝐿𝐴 Magdalene lineage, to the Essenes. We are light workers from various traditions, and we invite you to come together to hold a morphic field of higher light and to accelerate the advance of peace on earth, because that's what's here and now. And the promise, if you will, of our upcoming mystery school education is to make a definitive step into being channels for God's will and the higher divine architecture, which is coded with peace, with unity and prosperity. And to step into our spiritual responsibility as leaders of the new earth. And yeah, we speak about leaders of the new earth, and there's a lot to say about that. And I would like to ask Bliss, maybe you can say a little bit more about these new forms of leaderships for this new earth.
I would love to. And this is an incredible time to be speaking about this. It's a topic that's near and dear to my heart. But for those of you that don't know me, I live in the United States. So I'm in the southeastern portion in South Carolina. And therefore, I am currently just immersed in the explosive energies that have come off of this presidential election, a time when the division is just at its peak. And folks after this election are either hopeful or they are absolutely in utter dismay and grief and fear. And it's been fascinating to watch, particularly to see those who are light workers, many of whom I'm very close to, who feel completely in just a place of just utter grief. And so my approach through this entire election, which if you're familiar with it at all, goes on, it seems like forever and ever. I feel like, honestly, we've been doing this for the past decade. But my approach that I try to take in order to stay centered is to walk what I call the middle path, where I try not to see either side as all right or all wrong or all good or all bad. And I also have taken some comfort in the fact that I wasn't looking for a savior to emerge from this election. Because in my view, neither of the candidates really embodies fully the leadership qualities that we're looking for to lead us into new earth, which are the qualities of the divine feminine and the divine masculine. So many of you, if not all of you on the call, are well aware of the rising consciousness that's been occurring on the planet. And in fact, we're all what we call edge walkers. We're on the edge of evolution, and a time in which we have available to us now the highest levels of consciousness on the planet. And that is the foundation of Mary Magdalene's Mystery School. So if you've been with us for a while, you are being exposed to that on an ongoing basis. We work intentionally with these energies. And when we do, then we have the ability to alchemize that which is lead by melting it into the gold of the new age. And through sacred co-creation, we are able to bring forth the new future. But this level of work is not for everyone because it requires us to step into our spiritual responsibility and use these energies for benevolent purposes from a place of unconditional love. So when we talk about leaders of the new earth, we're talking about individuals who lead from the heart and the soul rather than from the head. Individuals who can rise above the chaos and insanity of the world and maintain a higher perspective. And I know it's not just happening here in the US, I know it's happening globally. So you're all exposed to it at some level. You can see past the illusions and the narratives that have been thrust upon us. Leaders are masters of the middle way, or it's also called the third way, and the ability to transcend duality. They stand as pillars of love and light, or as watchtowers, which is what Mary Magdalene was, and are the rainbow bridge between heaven and earth. And so the question is, who are these leaders of new earth? Where are we going to find them? And I would ask you to simply look at your Zoom screen. And if you want to, flip through to page 2, because there are many of us on here. Look at the beautiful faces that are looking back at you. You are it. You are the leaders. And in fact, you've already said yes just by being here, because you're already more awake than most of the population on the planet. Regardless of where you live or what you do or how deep you think your wisdom or your knowledge is, you are, in fact, the ones we have been waiting for. But to step into your highest expression is going to require the support and nurturing and guidance and new levels of knowledge and wisdom that you can receive through a mystery school program. And that's what we're offering in our new programming. So when you say yes first and foremost to yourself and your own soul's growth and transformation. But the energy of your yes will emanate out to embrace your family, your friends, your community, your workplace, your nation, and even the global world. So be assured that the moment you say yes, the up-leveling will begin as you step onto your path of training to become a Magdalene Alchemist, someone who is committed to the Sophia Christ consciousness of oneness and unconditional love. Mary Magdalene's Mystery School is a school of life that supports you on your path into the full embodiment of who you are, a divine diamond child of light.
That's beautiful. Just let that sink in for a moment, that we're all divine diamond children of light. And that's what we are. Yeah, we've all been prepared by the light realms. And that's a beautiful moment where we stand at the moment in the entire evolution of humanity. And we have been asked and been prepared within Mary Magdalene School to open to our global community certain spiritual channels of creation that are now finally available after many, many millennia of inaccessibility. I'm talking here in the greater field. We've been asked to open the libraries of light of our school to activate your inner soul library of light. And as Anna was sharing before, over the last 5 years, we've been sharing the teachings, the consciousness we receive from higher realms, directly as we receive it. However, for several years now, the idea of having a more let's say, structured curriculum to serve not only our present global community, but also younger and future generations has been in the air, and many people have asked us about this possibility. And now we are in process of bringing this content in a step-by-step fashion to initiates who are here to build the new earth, as we all are. We're all initiates of this new phase of humanity, so that it can be experienced in a structured way and can also be filed in your own libraries, should you wish to do so, so that you can come back to all the precious content over and over again in the years to come. So I will take you through a little bit more of what this really means for the next 2 years, as we will be guiding participants actually through 4 programs to deepen our mastery of what we call Magdalene Alchemy. And I'm going to show you here a little visual of that. Just be with me for a moment. This is an overview. Oh, sorry. This is an overview of the 5 new Mystery School certification programs. And at the top, you see the first one that starts in January 2025. We call it a foundational program number 1, and it's called Remembering Your True Self. And this program will then be followed up in September by a second foundational program, which is called Multidimensional Mastery. And then in a year, in January 26, we will start with the advanced program, Magdalene Alchemy number 1, in September number 2. And after these 4 programs, we will be ready to move into the Magdalene Alchemy Leadership altogether in January 2027. And then after each program, each of these 4 programs, you will receive a certificate of completion. Here you see an example of that certification.
Yes, so how is this mystery school education different from the regular Western style education model? Because it is very, very different. The way we see it, a mystery school is a place where the human soul and its highest expression on earth is the center of our intention, center of our lives. We are first and foremost spiritual beings having a human experience. The spiritual being in human form is invited to have an earth journey which serves to expand his or her soul and to fulfill a soul contract. And the Mystery School supports and facilitates this journey through a universal understanding of the incarnation and creation processes. So the ultimate purpose of this education is to make conscious the potency in each person, the gifts and wisdoms that we've incarnated with and intended to put to service for the betterment of our work as gifts to all life. So a process of education, as we see it, is about bringing out what is latent, that which is behind the veil for most people, after incarnating. So this is not primarily about consuming information from an outer source or teacher, although the information given is intended to be a springboard for inner research, inner spiritual research. The education is therefore intended to open a door into yourself, many doors into yourself, to keep your creative inner process ignited by opening your consciousness to new fields of resonance that allow your consciousness to connect with new and higher layers of yourselves. So underneath all of this, we are infinite. And this is a way for accessing and interacting with the infiniteness that lies within ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah, there are some of you who have been journeying with us for years, and you already know that the programs we offer, whatever form they have, are much more than simply taking a course. The programs build up very powerful fields of consciousness through which each and every participant then both gives and receives from the energy fields. And the field available for our healing and transformation is, as we know, exponentially stronger than when we're doing the inner work alone. So we can't tell you how incredibly powerful we feel that the field will become when we have a group focusing on this material over the next couple of years. It's beyond powerful. And we feel that the field is already starting to be built as people are starting to register, which is beautiful. It activates the entire cycle. So we see that this is one of the most powerful ways that we can build and use our power in a very positive way to support the planetary changes necessary in the years to come. And we all feel that that's what we came to do here. So it's a very significant moment in our history. Yeah.
Yeah, our work as light workers is far from over. We're only at the beginning of something really new and very beautiful, though it may not appear that way on the outside. So in the next years, we will, however, need to keep our focus in order to do our part in the shift that's necessary. And of course, we're built for this. We incarnated for this. We've all been prepared for this for a long, 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 long time. So with each passing day, we're remembering, we're more fully understanding and more deeply embodying the Sophia Christ consciousness. And since about 6 months ago, when we were in Cyprus with a group in May, we were asked by the Planetary Spiritual Council, the Masters of Shambhala, to step into greater spiritual action, which for each and every one of us may be internal or external action or both. This is, as Petra said earlier, this is a very spiritual, spiritual and individual path, though we can take it together collectively to support and empower each other. The shift from 3D to 5D consciousness requires the integration of a whole new set of perceptions, behavioral patterns that shift us from duality to unity consciousness, from constructs of separation to the reality, really the reality of our interdependence and oneness in our way of being in the world. Maybe Bliss, you'd like to speak more to the program itself.
Yeah, we're going to start to get into some of the details of it, but kind of a first question, who is this for? So the new mystery school program that we're offering is really for anyone who's ready to apply internal alchemical knowledge and tools in a deeper and more powerful way in order to become conscious co-creators of the new earth. And that's why it's so beautiful to be doing this in a group, because we are co-creating new earth together. So it's for anyone who's ready to commit fully to the steps required to own and embody a practice of alchemy that's based in Sophia Christ consciousness for the purpose of fully embodying your highest expression, achieving multi-dimensional mastery, becoming a Magdalene Alchemist, and fulfilling your soul's purpose and sacred mission. So it's those that's the step-by-step process we take: the embodiment, the multidimensional mastery, the becoming the Magdalene Alchemist, and then taking that out into the world for the purpose that you're here for. What I'm also going to be doing in this program is incorporating some of the training that I've had on the priestess path, so that we're actually co-creating a sacred temple. And in this space, you'll be invited to remember perhaps your own time spent in temples And in mystery schools of the ancient world, many of us here have felt we have been there. Some even have memories of that. So it's an invitation for us to come together in a sacred circle for an extended period of time in which we can really enjoy the concepts of deep remembering, of sharing, of bonding. And many, many of you have asked for more time to share together in smaller circles where we can really get to know each other and then to learn and grow together. And so your essence is most welcome in this sacred temple. And I do hope many of you will choose to join us.
Thank you, Bliss. Yeah, the first two programs, which we will run in the year 2025, are what we call foundational programs. And then in 2026, it's our vision to run the very deep advanced programs with in-person training and initiations. And then in 2027, a Magdalene Alchemy Leadership Training program. Now, each of these programs, of this first four, will run 4 to 5 months, with then regular group online meetings, and will be based on material that's been gifted to the channel of the school over the last 5 years, as well as new material from the Masters of Shambhala that Anna just mentioned, who are guiding us in a very deep way at the moment as we're opening these libraries of light at the moment. So the structure of this mystery school programming is the first program, the foundational program, number 1, Remembering Your True Self, is a very solid foundation that is needed. It's almost critical for moving into higher frequencies. So this is why we recommend revision, even for those who've been on the path for some times. Not to mention that the Masters of Shambhala, as we speak, are bringing in new layers for those who are ready energetically. So, and then in September, we will follow up with the multidimensional mastery program. And then later on in 26, the advanced Magdalene Alchemy programs. So I would like to go a little bit deeper into the details of the foundational program number 1. And I'll do that by sharing my screen again so you can read with us. Just a second. So here you see what you can expect in this program. Oh, sorry. So there will be 10 modules with original content from the Mary Magdalene School channel. And then there are 10 90 minutes gatherings with Bliss. And Anna and I will be visiting those gatherings. We will have several visits joining these gatherings, and we will be participating in an ongoing energetic engagement with the group that's moving through this process. Then, as Bliss just said, it's really about exploring, bonding, and sharing also in breakout rooms, so that we're in smaller groups with all the participants in the program. And there will be a private online space for sharing and connecting to others in the program. We'll be using a very special new platform for that. And yeah, that's really the place where the study will happen all together. And yeah, what's included? A deeply supportive environment for your spiritual emergence. I think that is in one way of saying it, what this is going to be. And just to give you a sneak preview of the material that we're foreseeing, there will be a beautiful online workbook, but it's also printable if you feel like that suits you better. There is a possibility with this new platform that we're preparing for using an app, so that you can listen on any kind of device in your own time, in your own pace. The audios, the videos, everything that is coming with this program, as you are probably used to in other offerings that we've done. So there will be written materials, there will be audios, there will be videos, and then there will be the meetings that we intend to have all together.
Yeah, so if I
So
just
that is-
say again,
Yeah.
maybe show that the overall vision is to create a container in which individuals are supported to solidify the concepts, the teachings and principles for co-creating the new earth. And in the past, a process like this might have taken 20 years. It may have taken entire lives or even multiple lifetimes. Today, as we know, the higher frequencies available on Earth allow us to integrate this higher consciousness very quickly. Nonetheless, it is a path which really benefits from the support of a community. So the foundational program explores the guiding principles needed for the co-creation of New Earth, including a new language, vibrational quality, a way of being and relating to ourselves and to each other, very different from the 3D world we know. The new earth is an earth with a new consciousness, with new rules of engagement that we need to learn and understand collectively. So participants will emerge from the program with a perception and a codex of values that matches the 5D reality of living on Earth at this time. So those who have already been consciously walking this path for years will find it useful and supportive to review these essentials in order to anchor in the codices, the New Earth values, even more deeply into their lives and to support their communities. The review of these foundations is valuable to you if you're guiding any community spiritual practices in order for you to deepen your embodiment of these guiding principles. Through the review, we invite you to empower yourself in a role of holding a sacred container for the evolution of your community. It's so important that we have people at this time that hold these sacred containers, being way showers for community. So everything you will be learning can be applied immediately in your personal life, in your family life, your community, your work, as you show up as a sacred leader in service to the Sophia Christ consciousness. Really a genuine guardian of life, a Magdalene Alchemist. So this is a call to action for both men and women. It is for all in service to the higher laws of creation, for those really who are deeply connected to the Divine Mother and to Source consciousness. So we think that no matter the years of experience you already have, you can rest assured that we will be surfing on the edge of evolution as we always do in our programs. Maybe, Petra, you can go into more specifics about the programs now so that we can see what's included in the program.
Petra, darling, you are muted. There you go.
Okay, well, try again. Good, we're gonna get going on part of the details of the Remembering Your True Self, the first foundational program, starting in January 2025. So what is included in the program? 10 modules, the 1.5-hour gatherings, the visits from Anna and me, the sharing moments. And the program will start in January 1. There will be the first information being sent off to you. And the program will last till May 14. The live meetings will happen on Wednesday evenings, our time in Paris, 8 p.m. And the meetings will be recorded. Oh, sorry, it's moving. Oh, the meetings will be recorded, except when we have breakout rooms, because those will not be recorded, of course, because they're in smaller, separate groups. So then what is extra with the program? So when you sign up, you will get immediate access to the online course We Are the Ones We've Been Waiting For, which has a value, as you may be aware of 555 euros. It will come with a discount of 100 euros for the July 2025 𝐒𝐜𝐴 retreats. And there will be free access to one 𝐒𝐜𝐴 Healing Circle during this period. So that is what comes with the program. Now the offer. We will be offering these programs at a regular price. So in the coming years to come, we will be offering it for $18.99 for the entire package. And we want to, for the first time, bring in a special introductory price of $14.99. I want to say that there is a payment plan option available for those who would like to use that. And this price is then included the free online course, the discount of 100 euros for the 𝐒𝐴𝐴 gathering and the 𝐒𝐜𝐴 Healing Circle. But there's more, and that is for tonight, to know for all of you participants that when you register by November 25, we have introduced a special early bird price of $13.99. So there's €100 extra when you use the special code that is written here in this slide. Then you will get, when you move through the registration on our webpage, you will get another €100 discount for registration before November 2025. So just because it's beautiful, we just want to show you the dates because we've had many, many questions from many of you for the 𝐒𝐴𝐴 retreat for next year. It's going to happen between July 20 to 26. And here you see a beautiful picture of one of those gatherings. And it will be an assembly of our global soul family that we're envisioning. So here are the dates. So having said that, we're closing our information cycle towards you, and we're opening the stage now to have questions and answers. And we would like to invite you, if you have a question, to raise your hand, which is in the menu of your Zoom screen. And if you raise your hand there, we can see you on our screen and you can ask your question. And we're more than happy to answer your question.
Yes, Denise.
Hello.
Hello, Denise. Hello.
I have one question, which is that I will be away in India again for 17th of February until middle of March, 1 month. I will be in Bihar, where Buddha's is the most famous place to go. And my question is, how about if I join the program now, I will not always be online. How could I manage it?
Liz,
Do
would
you
you
want
like
to say something about that?
Sure. So we didn't have that up here. When you go to the sales page, you will see the dates of our actual meetings. So we'll be meeting every other Wednesday at the time, the 8 p.m. pairs. If you cannot be there live, you will receive a recording. First of all, you'll receive all the material. I'm going to get back to that. But you'll receive the recording of the actual session so that you can participate whenever it's convenient for you and then join us once you're back. The way it's going to happen is about 10 days before our live meetings, you're going to receive the material and it will be in written form. There'll be PDF that's quite extensive. And there will also be either meditations or transmissions, all from existing or new material in Mary Magdalene's school. So those will be transmissions that Petra and Anna have recorded previously. And so you'll have access to all of that. You'll spend about 10 days, that you'll have to actually kind of integrate that. We'll come together. We'll have our 90 minutes plus. And what I mean by that is it's 90 minutes that we're allotting, but if the conversation goes on, I'm happy to stay on. But, you just know that you're carving out that 90 minutes. And then you'll have a few more days to integrate after that before you'll get the material for the next week or the next sessions. So there's plenty of time for you to integrate. And if you can't be there live, which I know many of you, it won't work from a timing standpoint, you can absolutely participate through the recordings. And then we will have that online platform where you'll be able to communicate with everyone else that's in the program as you share, whatever you want to share, want feedback or input, or just want to share what you're learning. Does that answer your question, Denise?
Sounds good. Yeah, thank you very much for the information. So I think probably could do it. Yes, I'll
Wonderful.
Let it settle down, but looks promising.
Okay, wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I see that Leanne is looking for the hands up button, the icon. Leanne, why don't you unmute yourself and we'll see you popping up somewhere on the screen.
Nice to see you guys. Sorry.
Oh, there you are, two.
Oh, 2 in 1.
2 in 1. Yes, exactly. So we get at least 2 questions, right? Thank you, guys. It's so great to see you again and to hear from you and the lovely work you're doing. I have just 2 really quick questions. It just relates to the certification. When you say certification, what is the meaning or relevance of that? And the other one is, if someone decides they want to start in, let's say, 2026 with you, are you starting the program all over again for another round of people, another cohort? That's my 2 questions. Sharon might have one too.
Well, let's start with those 2, maybe. Thank you for bringing those 2 questions in. The certification, this was a decision that we've been contemplating for many months, and for those who've been doing really deep work in a Hermetic tradition, that might also feel like a bit antithetical to have a certification system. But our mission is actually to valorize this energy work, to bring dignity and recognition to this activity for so many light workers, and to bring it back into its rightful respective place in our society. So to make it real, feelable, tangible, seizable in a society that's just coming out of a phase of deep materialism. For far too long, this activity has been sidelined. It's ignored in a society that's been having most of its focus on creating only through the material world. However, it's the metaphysical activity, the inner alchemy, the inner energetic transformational work that creates the material work, and if we the material world. So if we do not create coherently from our hearts and our souls, we begin to disconnect with the very fabric of reality. So we're being guided to bring this work back into our society, where before it was really separated from our society, it was disconnected from our society, was very hermetic, done secretly on the outskirts of society. And we would like to validate its importance, to make it seen, to have it honored, and to support the creation of a society that benefits from the fruits of the labor of those who focus their time working energetically in the inner realms, who are alchemizing dysfunctional, incoherent energetic patterns, and those whose role it has always been to support societies in staying healthy and whole. So the certification attests to that. This is not about testing. There's no testing involved. There's no saying that this person, passes and this person doesn't pass. It's not about that at all. It's really attesting to a commitment to restoring personal sovereignty, a commitment to inner healing and cultivation of spiritual awareness, and understanding that all creation starts inside of us, that each of us has unique gifts and talents, and a sacred mission that is needed at this time, and an elementary consciousness or understanding of, about the practice and the foundational elements of the Sophia Christ consciousness. So, and a pledge to using one's spiritual knowledge, the wisdom and tools to better our world. So that's really what this certification attests to. I don't know if that answers your question on that end.
Yeah, and it's not like an external validating body that's certifying or being part of, which is traditionally what you think of as a certification. And what you answered the question that I was thinking too about testing. Usually that kind of goes hand in hand with it. So yeah, it does. The other question was really about the cohort. You'll have a whole cohort going through, I guess, for 2 years, 2-3 years.
Yeah.
And yeah, what happens? You're going to create another cohort later on, a year from now, or what's your intention that way, if you don't mind me asking?
Do you want to answer that one, Petra?
Yeah, well, the answer is that we don't know yet, but for the moment it's not planned. So we're gonna really get started. It's the first, I mean, we feel like, and the guidance has been so strong, and we always know when that is the case, that that's the path to take. So that's what we're doing. So we're gonna get started, and we know we'll make the full round for sure. And we hope that there will be a repetition. We hope, because we feel that this kind of teaching, this kind of education, if you like, mystery school education, is really being reborn again into our society. So we expect it to grow and to grow, and let's see what the pace is that is happening. But we know for sure that we have within our global community the people who know exactly what the value is of a mystery school education, and we will be starting with that group. Yeah, and that's how we've always worked. Yeah, we are also living in the unknown,
Yeah,
and we're
exactly.
trusting the divine guidance. That's what we do. So for the moment, nothing planned. So we're going to get started, and it may be that this is the one, and it may be completely different. Who knows? We pray for that, because we can see this whole material moving into the society, that we can share it with many, even with schools. You know, I mean, it's a big dream of us that it will spread wherever it needs to go in our society. Yeah.
And your idea of the last part of the program, the leadership, is it to then be able to teach some of this content, or a different concept of leadership?
Yeah, we see that moving into many directions. We call it leadership in the way that we've explained it in this webinar, because leadership for us is a broad term of standing for one's sovereignty and really stepping out in the world. But we do see this happening in all kinds of layers. May this be in your family, may this be in your work, may this be in teaching, it may even be in teaching in our school. So that we see that we really feel that we're opening up the libraries of light for the usage of many people. So while moving through these programs, we're also inviting people to really, who are really have the intention also to move through the entire cycle, to really view the material also from that perspective, to see what it will bring them in that phase. Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Nice to see you
Thank
again.
you for asking.
It's beautiful to see you again too. Yeah.
Miss you guys.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah, likewise. Absolutely. Yeah.
Mm.
You're in your new home, Leanne.
Yes, yes, in the woods. I'm so excited.
that she manifested out of being in Vézelay last
Yes,
year.
that's right. Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Fantastic.
creation.
Thank
Fantastic. Congratulations. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
you
Mhm.
so much.
Thank you.
I have a question. I just wanted to ask about, so I understand as far as the pricing, so this program is January to May, and it's $13.99 if you register before the 25th. So then there's a second module within the same year,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so that'll be
level.
around the same price as well. So each of the 4 modules we're looking at will be around the same price, and then the leadership, whatever that will be, I guess, in the
Yeah. For this year, we have the price, as we say, like the 18.99 is the set price for these 2 times the moment. So we'll see how we progress. And so, but that is something, a direction that you can keep in your preparation. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Susan.
Yeah.
You want to unmute yourself?
Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Uh-huh.
For me, the question is, normally the materials from the programs are for 2 years. The material from these programs, it's for longer term.
Yeah. Yeah. We say it's called a lifetime. As long as the school is there, it's available.
Okay. Hopefully you stay long time.
Me too.
We hope so.
Yeah.
We'll see what the higher realms have to say about that.
Yeah. I think they are very glad with you, the two of you. And the other question was how it works in combination with the remembership group. If you sign up for this program and also doing the remembership group.
Yeah, thank you for that question. So we have already planned all of the days for 2025 so that it's possible to do both at the same time. They are different programs within the remembership community. We will continue to do our programming there, which is really real-time information, what is happening in the field. Spiritual cafes. We will continue with them, healing circles, and we will be starting to do some other community circles. That's programming that's going to be changing a little bit as of January, but the dates will not interfere with each other in any way, if that is your question.
Yes, so then you have the possibility to follow them both.
It is
I
absolutely.
understand.
Yeah, we've tried our best to not overload people if they want to do both.
Yeah, but I can imagine that maybe it will be difficult to with the content. Will it be?
It will be complementary, Suzanne. Because one is more community focused, more in the moment focused, and this is really the structured study of owning the material, so that you get this full information, universal information into your system in a structured way.
Okay.
Yeah. So there is a question in the chat I see about the payment plan. I will add there the link to the webpage for those who are interested. And when you move to the place where you find the prices or the price of this program, then there is a payment plan information button. So you can see how that works. Yeah.
Corinne? Oh, we don't hear you. You're still muted.
Yes, I have a question about the time investment for these modules. We're starting with the foundation, and I was wondering, I can imagine it's not only an online Zoom or a breakout room, but it's more for work we have to do outside the meetings on our own. So can you say about how much time you have an idea about that, or is that, of course, every individual has their own pace, but I wonder if there is any idea about it.
I'm happy to speak to that, Corinne. Thank you for the question. So yes, to your point, it's up to the individual. It could be as simple as just showing up for the live and getting, as much as you can from that, or you can go through the material relatively quickly. The PDF itself, they tend to be, as I'm creating them, somewhere in the 5 to 8 page document. So you can read it relatively quickly if you choose to. But then, of course, there are transmissions and exercises and those type of things. You could do them once, which wouldn't take too long. The meditations, it depends on which ones they are, but some are around 30 minutes or so a piece, but some are a little bit longer. Or you can just immerse yourself in it and be involved in it every day from January 1st until May 14th, doing something really deep. So it truly is completely up to you how much you want to engage with the material. So there's no requirement. It's not meant to overwhelm you, but if you really want to go deep, which of course we encourage you, of course you're going to get out of it the more you put into it, but it's completely up to the individual.
Yeah, and if I may add to that, Bliss, it may also be dependent on the kind of subjects. There may be subjects that you really feel you would like to dive into personally in a deeper way, because you've never had the time or the opportunity to go into that specific subject. Or you may want to work with the information now on a more collective basis from the consciousness that you're holding at this moment in time, which then gives also another layer of information and expansion and soul growth. So there's really different perspectives, different ways of working with the material, which then is related to time.
Okay, thank you.
Susan?
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi, Susan.
Hi.
My question may just have been partially answered in what Petra was just saying. My mind is, or my essence is trying to mystery school. So mystery school from what my cellular memory is versus this mystery school. And if some of the content, not the content, if some of our deep dives will just come along as we are going through the program, and if that's how the school is set up, or if that's how the program is set up, to sort of explore whatever it is that comes through for ourselves, to make time for those explorations. I don't know if that makes sense.
Liz, do you want to
Well, I'm not sure I'm clear on the question, Susan, but it sounds like you're asking, will we be diving in some of the deep exploration that you have individually as you're working through the program? Will we dive more deeply into that collectively? Or are you asking the essence of a mystery school is accessing the deep explorations?
I think maybe both. I'm just trying to, as we go along, if things come in, do those become part of the exploration we do either individually or in the groups? Like, is it transform? Like, is it just transient?
Absolutely, because without a doubt, the material that we're providing is going to open things up for everyone in various ways. And so you will be exploring that individually, but we invite you to bring that into the collective, because that's where the sharing and the growth is going to happen. So as things are, as you're kind of awakening to various things, we would invite you to include that into the online platform that we have, so that you could start to share, so that perhaps others are having the same experience. And then there will absolutely be time for you to bring that into the live gatherings that we have. The 90 minutes that we're together, we're not doing that. I should mention that this is not like we've been doing in a lot of the mystery school so far, or the membership community, or that types of things. We're not going to be spending time meditating together and going through the exercises that are in the program. We're going to spend time diving deep into the exploration of it. So there will be plenty of time for really exploring what's coming up individually and collectively. That's where we learn, that's where we grow.
Yeah, I'd like to say one more thing to that, which is each of us is a different point of divine light. So the exploration that each of us do individually, and then we share that with the collective, is expanding the consciousness of the collective. So actually the entire exercise is based on what you just said.
Okay. Yep, that's great. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. I see that Crystals is asking if there is a table of content of the program, and there is.
Yes.
So if you go to the webpage, then there is per module a direction of the content. you know, as we move through things, there may be some small changes, but most of the content is there, so you really get a good feel for what will be the subjects for this first program.
Anyone else?
Would you like me to speak to what those themes are? Would that be beneficial? You can certainly read about it, but
Yeah, why not? Yeah, yeah, you can
so
maybe go through that.
just very quickly, what the 10 modules are, and I'm still working with the second half of the program, but we're going to begin by, it's all about reconnecting and remembering various pieces of ourselves. So we start with our, I got to make sure I get it right, our mind, our body, and our heart. We then move on to our soul, our higher self, and the Sophia Christ consciousness, or our consciousness. And then we move into connecting with Mother Gaia and connecting with ascended masters, the higher realms, in that way. And we finish off by exploring our sacred mission. So essentially, in this first foundational program, we're tapping into all of the various pieces of ourselves to make sure we've explored them deeply, connecting with them, understanding them, so that we can take that very solid, connected person, individual that's connected to the earth and connected to the stars, and bring that out into the world in the fullest possible way. When we get to level 2, we're going to go more multidimensional. So we're not going galactic in this first foundational program, but we're going to go very multidimensional. But the key thing to remember is we have to be so fully grounded before we can go higher. And so we want to make sure everyone is fully grounded, because where we go beyond that, beyond the multidimensional, is into the alchemy, and it's really, really big. So I hope that's helpful. And again, the themes that you see are set. The actual content is still being played with a little bit, but it'll give you a very good flavor if you'll just take a look at that on the sales page.
Yeah, and I want to say that it's really important to have these foundations really very structured in your system before you move into the Magdalene Alchemy, because that's really another layer, and that comes from a very strong foundation into your entire body system.
Well, I'd like to say something to that when we go into the more advanced programs and we're bringing in much more light, then we need to be very anchored in a codex of behavior, let's say, and thinking and knowing what to do when that higher light comes in, because it can be very, very bumpy. So if we don't know about that bumpiness and what can happen, then we can move into a monkey mind and we can start to invent all kinds of stories and get very, very imbalanced. So the foundational program also serves as a codex within which we can find our grounding and our equilibrium when this higher light then is accessed and coming through, which starts to happen, will be happening more in the advanced programs.
You see that Bermath has asked a question. Is there a possibility to step in a later module? And I'm going to guess, Bermath, you mean a later program, like perhaps the second foundational program or the advanced programming. Is that what you're asking? Can you clarify, Bermath?
Yes, Bermath is nodding her head. Yeah. That's a good question. I think we had a tendency to say that we kind of wanted to start at the beginning and move through, but we would have to see that on a one-to-one maybe basis. Yeah, we have a discussion about that. Yeah. Don't know if you want to say anything more to that, Petra.
Yeah, I think it depends a little bit on what the trajectory is going to be, because we do feel when it comes to leadership, when your whole path is through Mary Magdalene's Alchemy into the Magdalene Alchemy Leadership Program, then it's really necessary. We feel that all the modules are deeply known into your entire system, because the way it came also in the last years for all of us, with the very strong solarization that happened and all the universal wisdom that opened up, it has come in many layers. But it's very important when we step into action, into leadership, that we really own them, and we see that there is sometimes partially ownership, but not the full ownership yet ready for the entire Magdalene Alchemy phase that we're foreseeing. So that was the direction that we were given, that it's really important to make it very foundational, grounded, that all the information is there for everybody, and that everybody really feels assured to step into that leadership role in the end. Yeah. So that's where we are at the moment. Yeah. So the linear trajectory is that what we foresee.
Okay, I think that this will be the last question. Marcia?
Yeah.
Hello,
Hi.
Marcia.
Hello. Yeah, nice talking to you. I have a question. I think I read or you said that a part of the program is we are the ones we've been waiting for. That kind of, yeah, that's included. Yeah, that's in the list you showed. Yeah, and I have already purchased that program, I think 2 years ago or so. So that's like a really big part of the program and of the whole package, like 1/3 of the price of the whole package. So for me, it's kind of paying for something I already have, like for 500 euros. It's a very materialistic question, but yeah.
Nice. Do you want to say something about how you use the material in relationship to that question?
Well, what I can say is, first of all, we will not be going through that program step by step. So it's not a review of the material. There are components of it that are incorporated into the new modules. So what this will do is provide for you, we've never had the opportunity to work through We Are the Ones together. And we always know, I feel that we get so much more out of being able to share it with others. So in some ways, this will take you to a different level than has been offered already through just having that program on your own. But it is additional material to the program. We feel that what's being offered in this program in terms of content and the ability to be together and grow as a group and in community into these leadership capabilities is well beyond the price of the course and the online course. And so I hope, Marcia, I know what you're saying. We definitely have considered that if people have already purchased the program, how we would take care of that. But I think that you're going to find that it's so much more valuable than just having that program on its own.
Yeah, I understand sharing is a big part of it as well.
Yeah. So I hope, does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Good to see you. My roommate from 𝐒𝐜𝐴𝐵.
I see that Phil is saying that Phil has offered very generously to help develop a glossary to enable the understanding of the new language. So that's he will be stepping in to help with that as well, which is beautiful. Thank you, Phil.
It is a big thank you to Phil, because I have been saying all along as I've been going through creating this material that I call it a galactic glossary would be really, really valuable. And so we'll be creating it. There's already a portion of it created with the book. So if you have the book, it's there, but we're going to be adding to it, and we'll be adding to it through each foundational program and each advanced program. So at the end of the programs, there will be this large glossary that is going to be so valuable, especially as you're trying to integrate the material, and particularly if you're going to try teaching the material or start to use it in your own programming. So it's something that I have not seen anywhere, and I think that alone will be incredibly valuable. I'm looking forward to it being completed. So.
So we want to thank you all so much for staying with us until the end of this webinar. We're really honored that you're all here. We're honored to be walking this path beside you, with you, in collaboration, co-creation with you. It's a very, very special time that we're in. So yeah, thank you for being with us. Please don't hesitate to reach out to the info box if you have any other questions for us. And we hope to see you again soon.
Thank you for being with us. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you so much.